When I point to a Jasmine Crockett, it's because here's what I know. All I ever hear her doing is going off.
Me disagreeing with you, me calling you, I want to be Hitler, all those things are like, go out and hurt somebody. And I'm sorry, but instead, we are not only going to punch you back, but we are going to knock you.
All right, people, let's start with the most current Jasmine Crockett dispute. This isn't your usual political dispute. We are talking about someone whose comments are said to cause more than just a disagreement. A furious storm is being incited by them.
Me disagreeing with you, me calling you, I want to be Hitler, all those things are like not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody. But when you're literally telling people at rallies, yeah, beat them up and that kind of stuff, like you are promoting like a culture of violence. And I'm sorry, but instead, we are not only going to punch you back, but we are going to knock you out.
But this is a war. This isn't a battle. And we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and
you know what? People are furious. Imagine a leader who is supposed to bring people together, but is instead seen fanning the flames of division.
When I point to a Jasmine Crockett, it's because here's what I know. All I ever hear her doing is going off about Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you what my belief is? I have no desire to be a politician. Let me reiterate that. And I appreciate House Leader, Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries speaking to me in the way that he did by saying that I speak with the frustration of the American people, because you damn right I do. Let me tell you what gets me annoyed. And I hope Jasmine Crockett is listening to this. By the way, she's welcome on the show. When you go on national television and you call on the president of the United States out of his name, and you're being all disrespectful, as a representative in this country, do you believe the citizens of Texas sent you there to do that? They don't like him either. I'm talking about those who voted for her in all likelihood. But because he is who he is and he is in that, excuse my language, on Sirius XM, but it ain't your job to say he ain't shit. He ain't worth a damn. That's not your job. Anybody can do that. He's a deal maker. And if you figure out a way to make him look good in any way, quid pro quo is something.
There's been a lot of noise lately, but underneath it all lies a familiar issue: the use of divisive tactics in politics. You won't want to miss this deeper look into how some leaders use identity as a shield instead of a bridge. And if you enjoy hearing all perspectives, make sure to stay tuned for more balanced discussions. It genuinely helps keep these conversations going. Now, let's talk honestly about how such tactics play out. If politics teaches us anything, it's that words carry weight. Instead of encouraging unity and productive debate, some officials seem to be playing a different game, one that fuels separation instead of understanding. Each time they take the stage, lines are drawn. Disagreements stop being about ideas and start feeling personal. And that's where the real damage happens. True leadership should invite everyone to the table, but too often it turns into fanning old flames rather than putting them out. When faced with tough questions, critics say some politicians change the focus to identity issues, framing criticism as prejudice. Whether or not that's fair, it sparks a larger conversation about accountability, communication, and the responsibility that comes with having a platform.
About political opposition. Well, on that note, I do want to turn to something that you heard the senator just say, which is he was talking about a resolution that came before the House this past week honoring Charlie Kirk. And there were 58 Democrats who voted against it. You were one.
Yeah,
Why?
absolutely. You know what? One of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was specifically to us. And I can tell you that a month prior to him passing away, he had actually gotten out on his podcast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but he got out there and he was talking negatively about me directly. So if there was any way that I was going to honor somebody who decided that they were just going to negatively talk about me and proclaim that I was somehow involved in the great white replacement. Yeah, I'm not honoring that kind of stuff, especially as a civil rights attorney, and understanding how I got to Congress, knowing that there were people that died, people that were willing to die, that worked to make sure that voices like mine could exist in this place. So to me, just like we wanted to make sure that those Confederate relics were taken down, the idea of a new age relic being propped up was something that I just could not subscribe to. And it is unfortunate that more of my colleagues, even on my side of the aisle, could not see the amount of harm that this man was attempting to inflict upon us.
Think about a recent public speech by a rising political figure. When she claimed that her critics were attacking her because of her background, it sparked a wave of reactions. It's a serious accusation, and it left many wondering whether her message truly stands for the underrepresented or if those issues are being used to strengthen her own platform. Let's be honest, when personal identity becomes a defense for every challenge, doesn't it risk weakening the very causes being championed? Her relationship with the media adds another layer. Reporters who try to ask tough questions often face deflection. Instead of clear answers to pressing topics, conversations sometimes shift toward accusations of bias. For journalists, that can be deeply frustrating. Some even say it makes open, honest dialogue harder to achieve, preventing progress on the real problems voters face.
Question. I get it now with Trump feeding into that nonsense, giving him fodder or ammunition to continue to go out there and talk about our black women that way. I got it. I don't like that at all. I don't want to be associated with nothing like that. But I'm going to be me. I'm going to call it like I see it. I can look Jasmine Crockett in the face and say, I'm sorry for any kind of noise I caused in your direction. Because she is accomplished and she is smart and she does have an incredible challenge working in this political climate on Capitol Hill. But we also need to be able to ask her questions. Just like we would ask Kamala Harris questions. Just like we would ask AOC questions.
Clips of her fiery speeches have spread online, filled with passion and energy. Her message casts herself and her followers as defenders, standing against a social storm. Admirers praise her confidence. Others see her rhetoric as deepening divides. It's a tough issue. Where's the line between empowerment and polarization? No one can deny she's built a strong public image using this approach. But does that image translate into meaningful change? Her speeches are dramatic and emotionally charged, but beyond the excitement, do they truly bring solutions? At rallies, her tone often turns combative, as though the battle is more about maintaining influence than fixing urgent issues. And that raises a bigger question: authenticity. Is her mission rooted in genuine progress or driven by political survival? When any form of criticism is labeled as prejudice, doesn't that risk silencing people with sincere concerns? It's a complex debate and one worth having. How should public leaders handle criticism while still standing up for what they believe in? Let's talk about it. Share your thoughts below. Every viewpoint adds something valuable to the discussion.